Find the greatest common factor of 24, 56, and 120. The first step we're going to do is to factor each number. As a product of prime numbers. That means we're going to write down 24 as a product of prime numbers, and 56 as a product of prime numbers, and 120 as a product of prime numbers. So we're going to do it on our scratch paper. We can use the factoring tree. So let's do it up here. 24 we can break down as 2 times 12. And 2 is already prime. We circle it. And 12 is not. We continue to break down 12 as 2 times 6. And this 2 is already prime. And 6 is not. We're going to continue to factor 6 as 2 times 3. And now all the numbers are prime. So we're going to write down the numbers we circled. And we put it over here for 24. So we get 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Similarly, we're going to factor 56. 56, you can start with 2. Say 2 times 28, and 28 continue to factor 28. But you can also do different ways. Say 56, from the multiplication table, we know it's 7 times 8. And 7 is already prime. And 8, we can break down as 2 times 4. And 2 is prime. And then we break down 4 as 2 times 2. Now we get all the prime numbers. And we're going to copy them down there. But when we write down those prime numbers here for 56, we're going to try to line up the same numbers. I'm going to draw a line to separate those numbers here so we can see better. And so when I put 7, because there's not a 7 in 24, there's nothing to line up with, I'm going to put 7 way in the back. And next we have 3 2's. And we try to line up with the 2's we already have in 24. Next, we're going to break down 120. 120, well, we can do 12 times 10. And 12 is 3 times 4. And 10 is 2 times 5. Now when we look at those numbers, 3, 2, 5, they're prime, but 4 is not. So we're going to continue to break down 4 as 2 times 2. And we got all the prime numbers now. So we're going to put the numbers down here. There's a 3, and we can line this 3 up with the 3 we already have. And there's 3 2's, 2, 2, 2. I'm going to put the 2 here to line up with the 2's we have. And there's a 5 which does not line up with any of the numbers here. So let's put 5 in the end. And now we can try to find the greatest common factor, which we call GCF. And notice the greatest common factor has to be a number that goes into or we call a factor of all of them. So as you can see, 2 is a number that we have the first column 2. That is a factor of all 3 of them. And the second column 2, that's a factor in all 3 of them. And the third column 2, that's a factor of all these 3 numbers. But the fourth column 3, it's only a factor of 24 and 120. It's not a factor of 56. So we cannot call it a common factor of all these 3 numbers. Similarly for 7 or 5, they only appear in one of the numbers, and that's not a common factor. Now we can write down the answer. The common factors will be 2 times 2 times 2, and that gives us 8. So 8 is the greatest common factor.